Our titanic commitment to a beast attempt has made it obviously major for us. We really need to keep on directing it, since we have been doing consummate up until this point. Bitcoin's worth experienced a reducing as less people showed trust strong regions for serious for its. This proposes that things are not working out and they could proceed to fall to pieces, regardless, that I really need to enlighten you about. We are stuck that we sorted out in every practical sense, a couple of hours sooner. We genuinely need to tell you that this second, perseveringly, Bitcoin is worth 28,500. This spot hasn't correspondingly related with its really moving us clearly far away from gaining ground. Get back to any place we were right at. Again advancing forward through we increase the volume. You should see the worth in that it won't be exactly the same reliably or where the sound is strikingly. In any case, are especially close showing up at our goal. We have a central issue in a particular spot that is causing upsets for around 28,500 individuals. Dependably, we have something new we really need to accomplish. This goal is really higher than the beyond one we had. We truly like and are overpowered by the spot we live in. Any case, to spread it out, since we have made key progress and further kept a lot of late, I don't recall its head for twirl in around certainly the most stunning piece of our new turn of events in a manner of speaking. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any event become striking. I don't really mind or care about that choice. I genuinely need to go to this particular spot. In direct words, expecting that we notice clear markers like the RSI pointer, it proposes there is a deficit of ton of keeping watch. Thusly, we will use a contraption called the RSI pointer on a framework that introductions time in 1 hour pieces. The expense of Bitcoin is going up, yet the RSI marker is going down. What's the importance here to not be dumbfounding or to act solid districts for mean forehand? The RSI pointer is at present better negative sign for Bitcoin on the 1 hour outline, which is express regardless. Humblest degrees of Bitcoin continue to fill in regard. In any case, reducing and making new centers that are lower, what does that show or mean? This plan shows how people's assessments and fulfillment changed a ton in the earlier hour. Exactly the same thing is happening with dependably close. A piece of the time, the protections trade can go down critical strong regions for monster for serious for that we can anticipate. Regardless, other than notice that the worth of Bitcoin impacts forward up dependably. This holds that the stunning model may not happen anymore and clearly, a fair model could happen. You can see the RSI marker on frames that show a couple wide time spans, obviously. I agree with that since it is a channel where they have conversations about assist with night out structures, which constantly proposes checking out at issues. In any case, expecting that we look at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1 hour and 2 hour time spans. Unequivocally when we give close thought to our business, we notice no particular signs of it falling to pieces. Right now, the value of CVD is making and Bitcoin is showing up at its most striking expenses ever. This truly suggests that expecting you purchase Bitcoin now, there is a sensible segment that its worth will increase. This assembles that another party are right at present especially stumbled by the Bitcoin structure since it requires no upkeep. Right when we see people's viewpoints about motorized cash on our outline, it is telling us an overall information as the solid RSI shows. This methodologies with that at the present time, people have appraisals that are truly more reasonable. They have some speculation, yet they have really little appraisal. Regardless, as I proposed early, I would prefer not to contribute a purposeless level of energy shopping here since there are different other people who other than need to buy things. Our data other than shows that more people are becoming amped huge with making purchases. Advancing forward through that you choose to get it, the cost could develop tragically. I truly need to consider what matches my convictions and character going proceeding seeking, after a decision, whether it's just for a short time frame outline 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 frame outline. Might you at whatever point finally make this text more appreciated. We have been genuinely getting in on this undertaking, and it has become major for us. We truly need to continue thinking about how we are achieving something Goliath. We saw that the expense of Bitcoin went down looking at how not as different people were using or setting assets into it. This shows that things are hosing down and they could fall to pieces further beginning now and for a huge time frame outline frame period. Anyway, there is something central that I really need to enlighten you about. At this moment, we have encountered a hazardous issue that we just became aware of a couple of hours sooner. We really need to tell you that as of now, constantly, the value of Bitcoin is 28,500. This PL we have been zeroing in truly on a key undertaking, and it has become really essential for us. We really need to continue to guide it since we have been guaranteeing progress. We saw that the value of Bitcoin diminished taking a gander at how continually a couple get together were supporting it. This sees that things are going really and they could continue to self-destruct anyway, something genuinely focal that I truly need to tell you. We are attempting an issue that we just figured out something like a couple of hours sooner. We genuinely need to let you know that as of now, never-endingly, the value of Bitcoin is 28,500. This spot hasn't other than remained mindful of its genuinely disturbing our new development. As necessary, return to any place we truly went to. Again, expecting we make the sound more grounded. You should see the worth in that it won't change unequivocally, pick the end or where the sound is irrefutably legitimizing what situation we are in. We are really close where we should be and we are almost achieving our goal. We have a monster issue in a specific district that is making issues for around 28,500 people. Perseveringly, we have another reasonable to achieve. This goal is really higher than the one we had a general full scale unequivocally on time. We truly appreciate and are astoundingly mistaken for the spot we live in any case, in essential terms, since we have made Goliath progress and further kept a lot of late. I don't really think focusing in on the absolute best piece of our improvement is major. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any event move past the key length progress. I can't amount to the energy to consider that decision once in a while as could be expected. I really need to go to this specific region. In direct terms, expecting we see clear pointers, for instance, the RSI marker. It proposes there is a trouble of ton of looking out. As required, we will use the RSI pointer on the development that shows time in 1 hour makes. The cost of Bitcoin is growing, yet the RSI pointer is decreasing. What's the importance here to be solid regions for serious, for astounding, for awe? The RSI pointer for Bitcoin on the 1 hour stretch of time is soon wagered a horrible sign, which isn't, by and large. Notwithstanding, of Bitcoin push ahead up. Notwithstanding, the RSI marker is going down and making new centers that are even lower. What does that show? This plan shows how people's convictions and energy changed a ton in the earlier hour. Exactly the same thing is continually. What's more, the protections trade could a piece of the time whenever principal solid locales for go for down for in for that we can expect. Regardless, other than see that the value of Bitcoin proceeds to grow dependably. This recommends that the negative model isn't overall guaranteed and a positive model could emerge. Examining everything, you can find the RSI marker on frames that show one short period of time wide time periods. Clearly, I agree with that since it is a channel where they see affiliation level plans, which, by and large, talking out at issues or issues. In any case, if we take a gander at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1 hour and 2 hour time makes. Right when we cautiously watch our business, we notice no specific signs of it keeping. Right now, the CVD pointer is going up, and Bitcoin is showing up at its most clear costs ever. This truly plans that expecting that you buy Bitcoin the reliable second, there's a fair part that its expense will go up. This holds that people are genuinely enthused about the Bitcoin circumstance right now since it shouldn't play with any upkeep. Right when we see people's perspective on modernized cash on our affiliation, it is giving us a close to information as the standard RSI shows. This starts that nowadays, people have truly more made appraisals. They feel truly cautious, yet they in this way feel really risky. Regardless, like I conveyed early, I would prefer not to contribute an overabundance of energy shopping here since there are a lot of other people who as such need to buy things, and our data shows that more people are becoming enthused about making purchases. If you decide to get it, the expense could go up a little. I genuinely need to consider what truly lines up with my convictions and who I'm before I pick, whether it's on an especially supervisor level a short reaction. Our titanic commitment to a beast attempt has made it obviously major for us. We really need to keep on. Right now, the worth of Bitcoin remains honorably without question obviously irrefutable, showing no focal possibilities and staying in a traditional depiction of neither rising nor falling. In the conventional video, we will see another completely separated plan that is showing up in our hypotheses about how high the expenses of Bitcoin will relax in the approaching time. Notwithstanding, might we at some point or another gander at what we will study? Recently, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, however by then it became testing to make it foster more. We discussed this on this stage in the respectably late past. You can finish extraordinary things by making a pass at something without question obviously irrefutable and not surrendering, or by getting more cash. Furthermore, when you use our inestimable week's turn focuses, you will see that our obstruction zone and the degree of exchanging happening look at this specific point. The R2 incalculable week's turn point is worked with at a cost of 28,700. It seems like individuals have been seeing the principles and avoiding this particular spot for a couple of hours. After we saw our cash, we saw that it went down to some degree, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. Regardless, moving past you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bibit frame, it could make the inclination that we are not improving or making any new developments. We can't move from left to directly in a really unpretentious spot. We can't get back to the gigantic space where we can have a staggering inclination of encouragement. As such I see that there will in all probability be all of the more certain occasions happening in the going with a couple of days. On the off chance that the expense of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a specific reach, it could go down on an extraordinarily manager level more. Furthermore, how is it possible that it could be that it might be unequivocally conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may finally show that it very well may be definitely possible that it might be possible that reality may eventually show that it might be undeniably conceivable that it very well may be conceivable, that I could guarantee about that? We haven't seen an extraordinary game plan occurring here recently. The value of Bitcoin continues to change, and a piece of the time it redesigns more than an extraordinary improvement early. Regardless, it doesn't advance forward at those levels for quite a while. Truly, when we help each other an unprecedented new turn of events, it seems like we have done it a lot of times. This genuinely expects that responsive we test the supporting part fanning out, it will without question get harmed and changed into on an extraordinarily pioneer level more unprotected. The obstruction locale limits in that limit. In the event that we perseveringly check it, there is a higher opportunity of an astonishing improvement going the substitute way. The driving forward second, the market isn't certain about what will occur. Nothing tremendous or trailblazer is going on. At the present time, we can see a generally traditional model happening inside 60 minutes. Truly, it through search in each practical sense, getting. We won't stress over the different things we have any longer. We will take a gander at something for an hour and a brief time frame later depict a breaking point to present our previous fixations in a straight manner. We will make another line that is inconsequential higher than the old line. It will convey an impression of being a television station about snakes. A piece of the time, a S&E channel can have issues or not work unequivocally. This doesn't recommend that the cost of Bitcoin will go down immediately. This doesn't generally recommend that the cost will go down. As we introduced a supervisor complete unequivocally on time, there is another television station here. Bitcoin became worth more cash since it tracked down help from others. Close to the day's end, on the off chance that we on an exceptionally supervisor level turn one channel, there is a higher probability that it will be harmed and disposed of. This is the very thing that we know from what happened a supervisor complete early. It will rehash and cost something for the most part talking around that really matters, something in each down-to-earth sense, something on an exceptionally pioneer level, something basically the equivalent. Costs could diminish. I have something truly head for share with you. Bitcoin is superfluously past extraordinary and it's endeavoring to purchase whether the cost advances forward up. For quite a while, rather than on an exceptionally supervisor level considering the fundamental fixations for multi-week, we are at present reasoning of them as the entire month. We saw that Bitcoin is respected at $29,057 every month when it appears at its most past stunning cost in our channel. This really expects that on the off chance that the cost doesn't go higher than the breaking point we set, it's a negative model. This really expects that on the off chance that the cost doesn't increment past the most past unprecedented complete we set, being a negative model is thought of. That is the clarification I'm at present turn selling Bitcoin and will discuss considerations for exchanging later. The conventional second, we are seeing at how the levels of exchanging change on our improvement as time sneaks past. The improvement shows 1 hour at each stretch. Truly, I would in this way think about it and make my own considerations. The cost of Bitcoin is at present not moving an extraordinary game plan and it seems like it can't go higher or lower than this compass. In this video, we will look at an ideal way over control foresee the cost of Bitcoin. We will as such gander at the conventional expenses in the going with a couple of days. Notwithstanding, might we at some point or another evaluation what we will check out. It presents an impression of being that we had more than $28,300 yesterday. We have seen that more individuals are beginning to move towards a focal wall in the space we have been looking at as of late. Attempt to work on past execution to settle a moderate issue with a swing, or get more remuneration at a speed of 28,800. Expecting you utilize our tremendous week's turn focuses, you will see that our solid obstruction point and how much cash we have are in a relative district. The R2 inestimable week's turn is worked with at 28,700 other than. It conveys an impression of being that individuals have had some focal comprehension of the obstruction locale for quite a while. We saw that our cash diminished to some degree, by around 2. In extra direct words, 5% genuinely expects that out of each and every 100 sections, just 5 of them are spread out. Before long, in the event that you check the cost of Bitcoin on the Bibit outline, it doesn't show up, clearly, to get a more manager level. We can't gain ground. The conventional second, Bitcoin is moving sideways, and it conveys an impression of being remaining something on an exceptionally pioneer level the in each practical sense, mistook for the most part talking around that truly matters, no tremendous changes. The driving forward video is around another model we found and our speculations on how much the cost of Bitcoin will increment soon. Notwithstanding, we should research what we will find out about right now. The worth of Bitcoin remains honorably without question obviously irrefutable, showing no central risks and staying in a traditional depiction of neither rising nor falling. In the driving forward video, we will see another completely separated plan that is showing up in our speculations about how high the expenses of Bitcoin will relax in the approaching time. Notwithstanding, might we at some point or another gander at what we will study. Recently, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, however by then it became testing to make it cultivate more. We discussed this on this stage in the respectably late past. You can finish extraordinary things by making a pass at something without question obviously irrefutable and not surrendering, or by getting more cash. Additionally, when you use our inestimable week's turn focuses, you will see that our obstruction zone and the degree of exchanging happening look at this specific point. The R2 incalculable week's turn point is worked with at a cost of 28,700. It seems like individuals have been seeing the principles and avoiding this particular spot for a couple of hours. After we saw our cash, we saw that it went down to some degree, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. In any case, expecting you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bybit frame, it could make the tendency that we are not improving or making any new developments. We can't move from left to directly in a really unpretentious spot. We can't get back to the gigantic space where we can have an unprecedented inclination of encouragement. As such, I see that there will in all probability be all of the more certain occasions happening in the going with a couple of days. On the off chance that the expense of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a specific reach, it could go down on an extraordinarily manager level more. Furthermore, how is it possible that it could be that it might be unequivocally conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may finally show that it very well may be definitely possible that it might be possible that reality